want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Good day, Mad Men Mafia.
I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you. And we're all early. Wait no more.
Yeah, this one really is for you. And we're gonna go ahead out the gate and let you know this is grown folks talk right here today. This is grown folks stuff. If you don't, if you don't want kids to hear some stuff, then you might want to excuse some folks out of the room or something like that, or come back later. I don't know what it is, but this is grown man talk really today. This is grown folks, but it's definitely grown man talk, and this is our opinion. It's one of them things that man, I feel kind of slimy getting into slimy stuff. But the reality is, man, this is kind of relevant stuff, man. It's staying relevant conversation, relevant topics. Adding our 2 cents in, on the whole thing, man. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about relevant. I mean, we spend so much time talking to guys how, to be the best they can be and to level up and, be the best version of you. And then we see things like this with a guy who did all those things. I mean, he was, NFL, he's got his own podcast, he's worked for ESPN, and now he's getting dragged through the ringer because some lady wants some money. My opinion.
So, yeah, all of this is our opinion. All of this is allegedly. All of this is all of that kind of stuff. We represent nobody but ourselves. All that legal stuff that we should be saying right now applies in this conversation. And, unless you've kind of been in a media shadow or media blackout, or definitely if you've been offline, maybe you don't know. But us living here in the Denver metro area, one of our local, or at one point was local, sports stars, the once great Denver Broncos, Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Famer, has kind of been in the news lately, and I think it's very pertinent to men, man, because homeboy got, man, he got himself, he's in a tight spot, man, and it's something we got to talk about as men.
Yeah, he got, or they're trying to get him and it's funny because doing this whole looking into this, because I wasn't paying attention, I don't watch the news, so you had to bring this up to me, so I was looking through it and watching other podcasters, listen to the story, and I mean, from my perspective, from what I see, it's definitely a money grab, because it just seems like he maybe used a small head instead of the big head when he was choosing somebody to date for a couple of years, and then maybe they got to the point where it was getting stale, and she thought, well, I was with him for the money, so let me see what I can get. And I think he even offered her a payout just to save his family the embarrassment and all that kind of stuff, but she was like, nah, I want the whole bag. And so now it's going to court, but it's just it's slimy. I mean, I'm glad you said that, because it makes you feel a little gross and slimy. I mean, yeah, it's dirty work. We got to get in there and clean these things up and do some dirty work. But when it comes out like this, it's like, I mean, even somebody like Shannon Sharpe, I mean, he's got to check his neck and protect his neck and watch out, because I mean, you get into that position where you have something that somebody else wants, and they're gonna come try to get it from you.
Yeah, let me come right out of the gate with some transparency. I'm gonna put some skin in the game to let y'all know that I'm not coming at this from I'm not coming at this from a judgmental perspective, man. I'm not coming at this from a looking down at or looking whatever, man. I mean, the only I've been hemmed up, man, in my life, man. I've made some mistakes, man. If it wasn't, I mean, I got no room to judge, man. My whole youth growing up, I wanted to be a Coast Guard pilot, man, and I threw away my career, my hopes and my dreams of doing that by making bad choices, man, of who I associated with, and I flushed a lot of things down the toilet, man, and I've been in that situation, man, where you got it and you're there and you're thriving and you're striving. And as a man, man, I mean, doors open up to you and you make bad choices, man. And I've been down
Uh-huh.
that road. The main difference is, or one of the main differences is, I didn't have as many chips on the table, man. I'm not worth $50 million, man. And I didn't do nothing felonious. I didn't do nothing criminal.
Mhm.
It's just bad choices, man. And so in this case, man, it just, when it comes down to it, us as men, man, we gotta get some stuff right. I mean, we got so many lessons to be learned from this whole situation, man. The main difference for something, an incident to be a lesson, is, did you learn from it, right? And
Mhm.
every lesson is going to cost you something, right? And the main difference between information and wisdom is application. And so we got to learn some lessons, and we got to apply some things as men, especially when you get older, man. I mean, long and short of it, this dude in his early 50s met a late teenager. Everybody was adults, but, and, she happened to be, not happened to be, but she was a OnlyFans chick. I mean,
Uh-huh.
making money off of her body. And so, so the end of the story is nothing different from the beginning of the story. And apparently they got off into the freak city with some of their stuff. And, we ain't even getting into the true trash of it all, but, you know, they got off in the thing, and God, man, fellas, if you, man, you know how it is, man. Man, you get that freak up on you, man, and it's the crazy ones that'll get you, man, and
Uh-huh.
you just get out of pockets, you just get out of yourself, and long and short of it is, she claims, some SA against
Uh-huh.
him, against her will, kind of stuff, and now she's suing him for $50 million. Besides the
Yeah.
50 million, it appears that homeboy might have lost out on what was about to be $100 million deal, with a four-letter sports TV network. And
Mhm.
so, man, so she's coming after him, because she say, he owe her something for what he did.
Yeah. See, that's what, like, and I'm on the same page with you. I'm not looking bad at the dude. I'm not calling him out. I'm not trying to say he did anything wrong. Well, he did stuff wrong, but I'm not trying to like judge him because I'm not in his shoes. I'm not in his position, and I can't imagine. It's kind of like that joke. I can't imagine the pressure that when you got that kind of money, you got that kind of fame, that all the gold diggers and all the ladies coming out of the woodwork, like what kind of pressure it is to deal with, and how hard it is to judge a book by its cover, or how hard it is to look through the weeds and see if they're for real or not. And yeah, I mean, the warning flags were there. She was an OF model, and apparently the things she did on her channel were the things that she's accusing him of doing to her unwanted, which is odd because that's what she's known for on her channel. Also, like, I think he may not have lost that deal. I think he stepped away on his own. At least is what his lawyer was saying, that he stepped away from his television gig just so he could deal with this and not have it drag through all that stuff. But hopefully it doesn't cause him too much. But yeah, I mean, the red flags are there, and I'm assuming in this situation it was one of those situations where she came on, love bombed, and everything was amazing. And he was like, "Where'd this girl come from?" and all this stuff. And then after a year or so, she couldn't keep the mask on anymore. She couldn't keep the act up. And then she's like, "Well, he's not going to marry me, so I'm going to try to get the bag with some other way. It's not going to be divorce. I'll just sue him." And that's what's so crazy about it. Is like, if he did these things, why is she not looking for criminal action? It's civil. She just wants the money. She's not trying to send him to jail if he actually did something to her. If he essayed her like that, then why isn't she calling the cops and just sending him to jail? No, she just wants the money. So it seems like, if you look at it, of course, it's easy for us to say, oh, that was obvious. That's what she does for work. She's an OnlyFans model. Oh, she sells her body for money. So obviously, she's all about the money. But we're not in his shoes. We're not in that situation. We don't know how she manipulated it or how she got in his head or whatnot. But I mean, from the outside looking in, it looks pretty obvious. But of course, we weren't there. But like Kirk said, there's a lot of lessons here that all of us can learn from to protect your neck, protect your wallet, protect your reputation. Because some of these girls are scandalous, man. They're just out for the bag and they'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah. I don't think she's a victim. Honestly, this is my opinion.
Oh,
The
same.
reason I
Oh,
don't think
same.
she's a victim, the reason I don't think she's a victim is because I don't think she thinks she's a victim. I think if she thought she was a victim, he'd be in handcuffs right now. In my opinion, if she thought she was a victim of assault, then he would be, I mean, there would be charges pressed. This is, like you said, this is a civil case. She wants to get paid. She wants to get paid for what she did over those, over the last couple, however many years that they've been doing their thing. And yeah, I don't think it was a love bomb. I think it was a booty bomb. I mean, I don't think there was any kind of, I don't think there was any kind of preconceived, relationship. I think it was recreation, and she, apparently would it, if the texts are to be believed, she wanted to get paid. She wanted that baby up in her, right? And so I don't think she's a victim. And like I said, I don't think she's a victim because I don't think she thinks she's a victim. I mean, if somebody assaults me, my first action is not to sue them for money. Now here's another prime example of that. Way back when, if you remember when the Kobe Bryant thing went down, that happened up in the mountains up there where you are in Colorado. That went down the criminal road first, and then it became a civil thing once as a way to settle the criminal act. And so I think if you really think you're a victim, you want justice, not payment. I mean, and if you want payment, you want justice first. And so, my thing is that's just, like I said, that's just my opinion in terms of me not, in my opinion, as a 52-year-old man, I don't see her as the victim because I don't think she thinks she's the victim.
Well, I mean, if you look at the writing on the wall, and you said it too, that she wanted the baby, she wanted to basically be paid for the rest of her life and have the child support and be taken care of, and he didn't do that. So then she's like, well, what are my other options? And he's not going to marry me. He's not going to give me a baby. So, well, my only other option is to try to charge him with something and get some money out of him. Try to make up some SA charges and get some money out of him. And it looks pretty obvious from our side. It seems pretty spotlighted. Like, well, I mean, she's obviously trying to get the money one way or the other. And getting the baby didn't work. Getting married didn't work. So now her only other option is to try to do this. So, I think for us guys, as we're looking at this from the outside, it seems very clear. But being in the middle of it, and getting booty bombed, and getting all the freaky stuff that we want in bed from those ladies, we want that freak in the sheets, and then they expect something from that a lot of times. So you got to have a little depth of vision. Don't get, like we say it all the time, don't get locked on the booty and lose your mind.
Yeah,
because you lose everything else too. But that's something I think, and as we get deeper into this in the next few segments, we'll dig some more of this out. But yeah, I think it's a money grab, and the signs are there. But we got to have friends around you to be like, hey man, watch out. I think there's red flags everywhere. You better watch your bank account.
Absolutely, man. And I think this is something we're gonna unpack. We don't expect everybody to agree with us. I mean, we don't expect. I mean, I don't even know if we're going to agree on everything ourselves, man. Probably on most everything. But either way, we're going to unpack this thing, man. We're going to talk about it and let us know if you agree or disagree. Put in the comments what your opinion is. Let us know what you think, the things you agree with, the things you don't agree with. You ever been shook down? I believe this is a shakedown. We'll be right back. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC. Boom.
Oh, yeah, it's a shakedown. Yeah, y'all put your comments in if you're on YouTube or on Mad Men of Masculinity on Facebook. We'll see them. We'll put you on there. You become part of the conversation. If not, put your comments in anyway. We'll see them later. We'll get back to you.
There's some things that we can't say that if somebody puts in the comments, we can't control what people put in the comments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, this is ultimately for some FCC radio. So there's some things we can't say and some wording we can't use. But we can't stop none of y'all from putting your opinion, whether you agree or disagree with us, in the chat. Let's hash it out in the chat, man. But I don't know. We'll see what the deal is. Let's do some lessons.
All right, let's do some lessons. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Mad Men. That's right. You're Mad Men. We handling this Shannon Sharpe thing, man. And like I said, we're not trying to get messy in the details. If you want to hear interviews and read text messages and listen to voicemails and recordings and all that kind of stuff, you can do that on your own. we ain't trying to get into those details because I think, man, one of the first lessons that I have out of this is us, man, is first of all, if you can hear or find out something about somebody else that will change your ultimate opinion about that person, you probably idolize that person more than you should.
Mm.
We should not have somebody up on such a shelf that we are so disappointed by. Oh, I can't believe he texted that, or he said that, or he put that
Mhm.
in voicemail, or oh, look how freaky he is, or oh, look who he's with, and oh, I can't believe he would do that, and all this other kind of stuff, man. Sometimes in our culture, we put people up on so high of a shelf that they come crashing down when they need some fake expectation that we shouldn't even have of people, man. So, if you got somebody, and that goes for people in our culture, our community, I know a whole lot of folks that, man, oh my goodness, I can't believe that preacher or that pastor said this. And, oh, I can't believe this TV personality or this actor or this athlete. I mean, people are people, man, and people gonna make
Mhm.
mistakes. And so if you could find out something about Jason B. Kendrick, yeah, something he did or something he said or who he did or whatever
I
it
did it.
is,
I said it. I claim
and
it.
and if that can, oh my goodness, now I can never listen to this guy again. I can't be his friend. You probably have Jason B. Kendrick up on a pedestal
Mhm.
as an idol that you shouldn't have. So I think that's one lesson that we can learn from this thing as a culture.
Why you gotta be putting my name out on blast? Like, why it's
Because
gotta
I
be
don't want
me?
to say my name, man. There's a reason I
I
can't
see
run
how it
for
is.
office, man. I
I see
cannot
how it
run
is.
for office, and I know that for a fact, man.
Well, I mean, I love that you bring that up because that's one of the things I think we miss a lot of times. We put people on pedestals. We see somebody on a screen. We see somebody on a stage, and then we make up this fantasized version of them. Those people are just human. And I think that's one of the reason we have that saying, "Don't meet your idols," because you'll be disappointed. Well, they're human beings. Like, yeah, they do this on stage, or they do that on the field, or they have this talent. They're still human beings. They still deal with relationships. They still deal with depression and all the other things. And for a lot of us, I think gets to a point like Kirk and I now, we use our past, our traumas, our shadow side, whatever you want to call it, as our power. Like call me out on my stuff. I'll sit there and have a conversation with you about all the bad things I did, all the mistakes I made, all the stuff that you want to look bad on me for, because that's what made me who I am today. That's why I can be on here and do the things I do because I accept those things as my mistakes, my lessons, my stuff. Same thing as Kurt. We've done the dirt. We've been there. We can't run for office, but we can run for podcast office. We can, be on stage. We can do our thing, but we can also help you learn lessons and maybe save you some time. But this whole putting people on a pedestal, the only reason people get put on pedestal is so that we can knock them off. We don't realize it, but that's really why we do it. We idolize these people, and then we take more pleasure as human beings in knocking them off the pedestal than we do even idolizing them. It's, oh, I can't believe he did that. He's a human being. We all have faults. We all have flaws. We all have these things that we deal with. But not remembering that somebody's a human being just because they're on a screen or on a stage or on a field, that's our first mistake. It's a good lesson to
Yeah.
learn.
Dude, I put my story right in my book, man. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my first book that I wrote, man, I put my junk out there from the very beginning. And when I get up in front of folks, man, I'm like, yo, I mean, I came right out of it, dude. I was, addicted to porn for 30 years, man. And, you know, and it controlled and ruined everything, man. I blew a career, a couple of marriages. I mean, like you said, we put all our stuff out there, man. I've married my wife now, so she wouldn't be able to put, videos and pictures.
I
I
got
had
you
to
on
marry her,
peanut.
man, because I had to
You
marry
got
her. I
NDA.
ain't want her to. I ain't want her to put out a tape, man. I'm like, now she put it out. I'm like, hey, babe, we married, man. It is what
Hey,
it is, man.
that's
I
all you
can,
do.
so, but man, I'm right out, like you said, man. We right out front with the fact that hey, we ain't perfect, and we don't even espouse to be. It just is what it is. I know for a fact, man, that there's no way I can run for office. Like that ain't even a question, man. And
Why
and
would you want to though?
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. And if it wasn't for if it wasn't even for my faith, I'd have a hard time looking at myself in the mirror sometimes, man. And
Mm.
so, yeah, man. I mean, so anyhow, yeah. Lesson. One thing I think right off front culturally is a huge lesson. Stop putting people on a pedestal, man. We need to get
Yeah.
that for sure.
You know, one thing I wonder, I want to throw this at you too, because you know he has a podcast, Clip Shay Shay, and he has all these controversial people on there, and he had Kat on there calling out all the SA people and all the P Diddy people and all that stuff, and that basically the Epstein list of all the P Diddy party people. And then now all of a sudden you got this girl coming at him trying to get all his money out of him. I mean, you think it's a setup?
It could be, man. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like all this stuff, man. It could be, man. There's a whole lot of people that landed on Epstein Island at some point in time, man. And
Uh-huh.
now some of his victims are starting to just turn up, face up and all this other kind of stuff, man. I mean, so man, there's a whole lot of stuff behind the scenes that that uh that could be out there, which is another lesson, man. Hey, it's gonna come back to you, man. You ain't getting
Uh-huh.
away with nothing out here, man. You ain't getting away with nothing, man. Ain't nothing secret, especially in
Especially
this information
nowadays.
age. There's nothing secret, man. You ain't getting away with nothing. I mean, it is so stupid, fellas. No infidelity has ever turned out okay. Like you ain't gonna have, an affair. You ain't gonna have no adultery and it just goes away. Like it doesn't just end amicably. Yeah, amicably. I mean, nobody's gonna say, you know what? How about I go my way, you go your way? What? No, somebody's gonna get mad. Somebody's gonna be disappointed. Somebody ain't gonna want the other one to walk away. You're gonna get caught. You're gonna get busted. Somehow, some way is gonna come out. So, dude, just don't even go there, man. You're gonna get busted at some point.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm gonna put you on blast a little bit because you're a great example, and I'm sure this is from lessons learned in your past. But like with your current relationship, you don't put that out on social media. You don't put on like most people didn't even know you was dating, and then all of a sudden you get married. So it's one of those things you have to learn that what you put out there is going to come back to bite
Mhm,
you. And if you're not
mhm,
cool with it, and that's one of the things too. Like I've seen so many other people, some people I admire and I look up to, and I love what they're doing. Get called out on something and then watch them backpedal and try to burn the house down to cover it up. It's like just be human. Like, hey, okay, maybe that wasn't the right thing, but that was that me then. This is me now. Like so many those things they tried to pull on Kevin Hart from like text from like 10 years ago or something. It's like that was 10 years ago. Like, yeah, if you want to pull that up, but that's one of the reasons we say own your stuff, own your past, know all your stuff. And then when somebody tries to bring it up, be like, yeah, and because it's really hard to have somebody bully you or blackmail you or something when you don't care, when you've already owned your stuff. It's the things you're trying to hide, the secrets in the closet that will get you in trouble. So if you get caught, own it. Just be like, yeah, I did it. So I'm trying to be
yeah,
a better person, but that was then, this is now.
yeah. And your boy Shannon just kind of came right out of the gate with his video. This is a shakedown, and he's putting out this, and
Uh-huh.
he's putting out that, and all this other kind of stuff. But apparently they offered her, some numbers have been like $10 million or more to keep it
Yeah.
quiet, and they like, nah, we want 50 million and all this other kind of stuff. Which even that, like, we have no idea how many of these NDA deals go down, and you never hear about them.
Uh-huh.
And for him, in terms of the payoff, if he were to pay her, and it went away, to me, that's not an admission of guilt because I don't know that he's necessarily guilty of anything but being a freak,
Yeah.
which, dude, yeah, hey,
Hello.
I mean, so
Y'all freaks,
it,
you freaks, don't even lie.
but it's a PR thing, in terms of it's better to just have it go away, keep the image away. If he can give her $10 million and get $100 million, broadcasting
Deal. Yeah.
deal, then he netted $90 million, and
Yep.
so and so to me that's not an admission of guilt. But from a guy perspective, man, the more chips you got, the more
Mm-hmm.
somebody's going to be coming after your chips. The bigger a target you are, the more chips you got, on your side of the poker table, man. And you just gotta make sure, man, you don't hide behind or let them chips that's in front of you blind you from all the people that want your chips. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna want all the chips you got, man. And the bigger your throne, the bigger your crown, the more enemies you got that want to come after it.
Yeah, I mean, you work so hard to get to the top of the mountain, and I do find it ironic, air quotes, that he offered 10 million just so that he can, save his family the embarrassment, keep his deal. But no, they want 50 because he has this supposed broadcast deal for 100 million.
Mhm.
They're like, oh no, I know you got that check coming. Give me half. Give me half of that because you didn't want to give me a baby. You didn't want to marry me. So I have no other recourse to get into your pocket but to sue you and do a civil action. So I mean, it seems pretty obvious. But to your point, when you work that hard to become a one percenter, and Shannon's a one percenter. He's 6 foot something. He's got all the money in the world. He's a professional athlete. He's a high value target. Well, if you're a high value target, that means most of these ladies are coming after you, and they don't all have good intentions. Obviously, this one doesn't. I mean, she's obvious. I mean, it's blatant, like a neon sign on her forehead, like, I'm about the money. I do OnlyFans, and I'm gonna do whatever freaky stuff you want to do in the bedroom. But now I'm gonna turn around because you didn't want to play my game and give me a baby or marry me. So now I'm gonna sue you. I mean, it's obvious money grab, but it just sucks that this man who got blinded by the booty, and and that's one of the things. If it happens to him, somebody who should know better, that has all this money, has all this attention, worked his life to get to the NFL, and now he's being all that stuff. Who am I to say it's not gonna happen to me? Like, I don't have all that stuff that's making them drool at the mouth and turn rabid on me. I don't have as much stuff as he does. But to your point, the more you have, the bigger target you are.
Yeah, dude, you got a whole lot of stuff that he ain't got. So there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot that you ain't got to worry about. That he got to worry about. There's man. You got all the zeros in your check in your bank account. You got the visibility, the profile, the high profile, all this other kind of stuff, man. Yeah. I mean, the big difference between him and a lot of us is we not that big of a target. I mean, quite honestly, we can walk around, anonymous. Nobody sees us as a paycheck when we walk into the room. In her case, I think she definitely, whether she's probably too young to even know about his career and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, once she found out, she and found out, and found out, he fooled around and found out, and so, dude, I mean, you got to know, man, you just got to, us as men, we got to know our value, just even our flat out, dollar amount value, and we got to protect that thing, man. To your point, we got to protect our neck.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why looking into things like trust, putting your money out of your name, put it somewhere nobody can search it. When you get money like that, you got to build some walls and some foundations around it. But speaking of foundations, we're going to do ourselves a foundational break, and we'll be right back. We are the Mad Men of Masculinity. This is KLDC. See you in a minute. Yeah, that's a good point. The higher your stack, the bigger your target.
And a lot of times, man, I'm telling you, we get in that poker game and we see them chips stacking up in front of us. And then when them chips get stacked up in front of us, we don't see what's on the other side of them chips. But something or someone on the other side of them chips, they don't even see us. They see the chips. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to recognize that thing, man. If we don't recognize that thing, man, then some of it is our fault.
Yeah, I think some of that might even be like the male version of the Disney princess syndrome, because I did all the work. I became a one percenter. I got the bag. I got the FU money. I got all that stuff. And then you think that's it. But you got to protect that. You got to keep your eyes open. There's so much more work. It's like, more money, more problems. I mean, it ain't just a song.
A lot of people are chasing a bag. Not a lot of people want to protect the bag. It's one thing to chase the bag and get the bag. But if you don't protect the bag, it don't matter. I mean, you could be worse off than you were in the very beginning because you didn't had it and lost it. And in this situation, really the only people that win are the lawyers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like all those class action lawsuits that everybody gets $10, lawyers get millions. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Are you ready for third quarter? And we're back.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Got to protect your neck, fellas. Man, we need to start being smarter, and not just thinking with the part that gets harder. We really, really do, man. And how many of us, how many high value men, if you're high value, then you're a bigger target, man. And how many, I mean, man, especially think of sports, man. We can go down a list of athletes and all this other kind of stuff, man. I think, a huge lesson right here, fellas. It ain't never free. It ain't never free, fellas. Whatever you out there consuming, it ain't never free. And if somebody giving it to you for free, it's really just a layaway. They putting you on a delayed
Payment
payment
plan.
plan like they used to have at Kmart. You can go ahead and pick it off the shelf, bring it here to the back and fill out this paperwork. We're gonna store it in the back, and you can either come in and make regular payments, or whenever you're ready to cash out at some point, you come in and pay it. It ain't never free, man. I'm telling you, here's the biggest lesson I got to every guy out there. That one pump will get you. Man, ooh, fellas, I'm telling you, that last pump will get you, man. And I know this for a fact, dude. That last pump got me 22 years of child support. I mean, man, I'm telling you, you think, ooh, you just got to get that one more in, and man, that one more is gonna cost you, baby. I'm telling you, it's gonna cost you, man, fellas. Oh, it ain't never free, man. It ain't never
Yeah.
ever free.
Yeah, I mean, I know as a young man, most guys are like, I don't want to pay for it. I'm sorry to break it to you, you're always paying for it. And sometimes y'all just need to sack up and just go ahead and pay for it to save yourself a lot of heartache. Because to his point, that one pump could be 22 years of child support and stress, could be 20 million, 50 million. I mean, it depends on what you got and what they're after. But, nowadays we have gotten so separated from relationships and family and wholesomeness that it's all about the money and what I can get. And it's become very selfish. And ladies, I mean, they're men nowadays. I mean, I got my own business. I'm a boss babe. Showing your body, maybe your idea of being a boss babe, and hey, get your bag, do your thing. But having that masculine energy and being a shark like that, I mean, guys, you got to pay attention. No matter what the booty looks like, no matter what she says she's going to do, or how freaky she is. I mean, that should be a red flag too. I mean, the hot crazy scale is for real thing. Yeah, she may be great in bed, but then she might be crazy outside. So, what are you looking for? What are you dealing with? What are you willing to put up with? I mean, nowadays they're not even like hiding it anymore. It's out there for you. So if there's red flags beforehand, there's a lot more she's hiding, and it ain't
And
never
we,
free. So,
we got to understand, man, that when you think of, I mean, literally, if you think of, and this is man talk right here, right? So,
mhm.
if we look at what a high value woman is, right? If we were to have a conversation, a whole show here on high value women, probably very little, if any of that, would have to do with finances. I mean, those kind of
Amen.
things can help, but that is not very high on the list. But you got to recognize that any conversation about a high value man, at the top of the list is going to be his ability to create wealth, his ability,
Mhm.
what he has tangibly in terms of income, in terms of, property, wealth, all these kinds of things are part of every conversation of a high value man. So we got to recognize this as men in our culture, that part of your value intrinsically is what you have in the bank account. If you have a lot in the bank account, you got to recognize that a lot of these women that come after you, because you're a high value man, they only see you as high value because of what they can get from you. And
Yep.
what they can get from you, for most of them, is tangible. Now, this chick, when they met, she was 19 and he was apparently 52. I mean, what does a 19-year-old want with a 52-year-old other than money?
Mhm.
Literally, other than money. I mean, money, fame, all those kinds of things. I mean, absolutely nothing. And so, us as men, man, we need to recognize that when you are quote unquote high value, you got to recognize that people who are attracted to you primarily because of something tangible that can be quantified, and a lot of times that's money or wealth.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the old Anna Nicole story, and she married Jay Howard, whatever, 80-year-old billionaire. It's like, oh, yeah, she loves him for him. Just be honest. You want the money, and he wants the boobs, whatever. I don't know. But it's that same old tale. And I think even to that point, if you're that high value and that's out in the public eye, and everybody knows who you are, and they know your football career, they know your podcast, they know that you're, you know, syndicated on sports channels and whatnot, maybe it's time to go overseas and find somebody who don't know you, who can actually love you for you. But I get it. I mean, when you got somebody trying that hard, and when you're fit, you're our age, and a 19, 20-year-old comes at you, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I love that joke that one guy says. I finally understand what it is for guys looking at a 20-year-old. It's a lot like women looking at a emotional support animal. Like a service dog. Like I can pet it. I can't touch it. Can I pet it? Can I touch it? Same thing for us guys and younger women. I saw some study the other day. Some lady was talking about this guy from Match or something, or OK Cupid. One of them, he actually put out the likes and what people prefer. And for women, it's usually right around their age range until they get older. Then they want a little younger, but it's usually pretty much across the board around the same age, couple of years, this or that. But for guys, it's pretty much like 20-year-old up and down. 80-year-olds, 120-year-olds. I get it for guys. I mean, we find that the most attractive. We find that the hottest. But to Kirk's point, that comes at a much higher price than somebody that's closer to your age.
Yeah. And the same way I said that she is not a victim, I don't think he's a victim either. I mean, he's a grown a man, older than me, older than you and me. I mean, this guy has been around. I'm sure he's had groupies most of his life now, just chronologically. Guy's been in the NFL. I mean, all the way through an NFL career, multiple teams, multiple Super Bowls, Hall of Fame, you name it. I mean, the guy is, big, strong, muscular, all these other kind of things. I know groupies are not new to him, or not a new concept. So he's got to be smart enough to realize and recognize, just as all of us men are. I mean, that man, we gotta be thinking right, man. We gotta be thinking, holistic. We gotta be thinking big picture, man. You can't be putting stuff in text message. You can't be, having these conversations. You can't be thinking that you're just gonna, be doing whatever with a 19, 20-year-old and it's gonna be okay. 19 and 20-year-olds these days are not okay. Like 19 and 20-year-olds these days, females. I mean, Bell Biv DeVoe told us a long time ago, don't trust a big butt and smile. I mean, nowadays, they want the quickest way to the most amount of money, don't want to work hard. They don't want to put in a whole lot of, time, effort, school, training, all this other kind of stuff. They want to make it all six figures before they in their mid 20s. To me, to them, that's normal. So I don't think she's a victim, but I don't think he's a victim either, because I think us as men, when we get to a certain age, we got to put away to some degree boyish things, and we got to start acting like men, acting like grown-ups, and making smart choices. Like I said, work smarter, not with the part that gets harder.
I'm still so curious, like what Jedi mind trick she used, because I mean, the red flags are there. She's obviously about.
I'll tell you what Jedi mind trick she used. I'll tell you, Bobby. I can. You want me to draw you a picture?
No, I got you. But I'm just saying, like, he's been around the block. You just said it. He's been around the block for 30 years. He's probably had groupies. He knows what's up. But was she just saying this is just for fun? I don't want nothing. And he believed her. It's just one of those things, like something doesn't add up. I mean, was it just that good? He hadn't had something like, that young in a while. He's just like, okay, I'll trust you. I'll believe you. Kind of Eddie Murphy. Okay, whatever you say. Okay, I know. Okay. I don't know, but it just seems like, come on, man. The red flags are
I'm telling you, man. Orgasms can make men stupid, man. I'm telling you, and I guarantee you, she just like gave him the Willy Wonka ticket, man. You can have it all. You can go to the chocolate factory. I'm sorry. You can. She gave him the full on like everything ticket, the golden ticket, man. I'll do anything. You can talk to me however you want. We can do all this other, and he's just, man, and little 19, 20-year-old that'll just give you the Willy Wonka, man. I mean, and so he just got stupid, man. He let his guard down, which also tells me that he was not surrounded by other guys, which also tells me that he was lonely and isolated. And men who are called to big things, men who are called to high and powerful things, and find themselves isolated and cut off without other men in their circles, often get caught doing dumb things, often gets caught in some kind of downfall or misery because they were lonely and not surrounded by good men.
Yeah, it brings up a good point. He may have gotten to the point where he was just surrounded by yes men and hangers on, and the guys that want to be part of his entourage that weren't really his friend, weren't really telling him, no, weren't really telling him that's not a good look, watch your back. And so he didn't have anybody that was actually had his best interests at heart to say, hey, dude, that's not a good look. And that girl's red flags all over the place. is somebody he would listen to. He's probably surrounded by yes men and people that just are in their own way, just got their hands in his pockets.
Yeah. And, to some degree, and I've even heard somebody else throw this out there, this actually kind of makes an argument why it's good for us as men, especially when we get into these older years, why it's good for us to have a wife at home. Not necessarily that we have a perfect marriage or that she's doing all this and all this other kind of stuff, because most wives wouldn't do what this girl did. Like most wives are not as freaky as it appears this girl was, allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's not about that. It's about dude. And one of his guests, Monique, even tried to warn him, like, you need to be at home somewhere with a grown woman. I mean, just doing your thing at home, not out here running these streets, chasing females that are half your age and all this other kind of stuff. You need to be somewhere sitting your old tail down. I mean, just having a good old whisper dinner relationship. And sometimes a boring life is a stable life. And when you chase all the craziness, the foolishness, especially in forms of a female, then you're destined for some kind of trip up, man, some kind of slip up.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of them are victims, and I'm just curious how much it's going to cost him for this little transgression. Because I mean, every older man who's single that's out there, that's what they want. They want that younger woman, but that comes at a high price. And if you don't got a group of guys around you to watch your back and protect your neck, then it might cost you the whole bag. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. But it's also interesting. I wonder what Monique's probably calling him right now and texting him, "I told you so. I told you so. Leave them little girls alone." Speaking of leaving the girls alone, let's take that final break. We are the Mad Men of Masculinity. This is KLDC. We'll be right back.
Dude, for that matter, Cat Williams got a warning. Like, yo, you need to stay away from some of these, I mean, man, I'm telling you, dude. I mean, man, but when you're out there kind of alone, when you're doing your thing, when all the when the band is playing, it's real hard to take a step back and like, do I need to be doing this?
I'd be interested to hear how they met, because I bet you it was some game that she went to, and then after the game is over and all the hype is done, and he's like back at the hotel room, and she like sitting at the bar like, "Hey, Mr. Shannon, hey." And
who knows, man? I mean, they could have met. They could have met at the gym somewhere or something. They could have met out just randomly. I mean,
I don't think it was random. I bet you either he was watching her on OnlyFans or she was watching him and went after him. But I don't know that. I doubt it was random. He could be random. Maybe they're in Vegas or something, and she was there. I don't know, but it's just the way this is playing out, just the way the end game is playing out. Like, it's like, I think he was a target.
You're right, man. I mean, it could be very much not random. It could have been absolute setup, man. I'm telling you, man, that weakness, man. That weakness, dude. That weakness.
Hey, maybe she watched his podcast, and that's because she's too young to know anything about football. So maybe she watched his podcast and she saw that Monique episode and was like, "Oh, he likes younger women. Oh, here we go."
Yeah. Yep.
Dang. All right, let's go. Fourth quarter, y'all.
We're back.
We're back.
Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, fourth quarter here. We're talking, speaking of fourth quarter, man, we're talking about the last 25 cent that Shannon Sharpe is about to have after this lawsuit. I mean, it'll all, at some point, it'll go away. And we'll see how, I mean, it might be, and it probably will be sooner rather than later. I mean, the way cycles, media cycles and all that kind of stuff, comes along these days, it'll go away as far as out of the headlines, but he's still going to have to deal with, and I'm sure they'll reach some kind of settlement number. And man, we need to understand as men, this is metaphorically speaking, somewhat literal, but also metaphorically speaking, the devil's been studying you for a long time, and man, he knows all the stuff you like, all the stuff that gets your attention, and for a lot of us as men, like I said, man, especially when you get up to the upper echelons, a lot of that comes down to women, man. Netflix has out right now, they just released again, the murder of Steve McNair. I mean, several years ago, another, high prominent NFL guy had a full-on girlfriend on the side, and she ended up, taking him out and while he was sleeping on the couch, I mean, and then took herself out, as a result. I mean, you can go on and on with all these stories, man, whether it's Tiger Woods, whether it's Kobe, whether it's Steve McNair, Shannon Sharpe. I mean, you could just go on and on and on, but we as men, man, we got to be smarter, man. We got to get our act together and recognize, man, that, that you a target and there, high value men that are targets, man. There's definitely a setup. There's somebody coming after us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the writing's on the wall. They're not even being shy about it, and you got to believe them. It's one of those things like believe what people say, believe more what they do, and just don't let your boredom as man. And that's why, like, you got to know your stuff. You got to acknowledge your stuff. I mean, we talk about it. I'm right about it. Like, you got to know the devil inside you and either become friends with him or acknowledge it to the point where it doesn't control you anymore. Because we all have our stuff. We're all freaks. We all have our things. We get little kinks or whatnot. And until you acknowledge, accept, understand, and utilize that thing, turn it into some fuel or something. Because I mean, Kirk and I both are using those things to help you guys to do this podcast, to help other men to do this, the talks that we do and everything else. It's because we've done that work. And so, especially if you're our age, if you're in your late 40s and mid 50s, whatever, it's time to get some digging to it. Dig into your past, dig into your stuff, especially those secrets, those things you don't want anybody to know. Become friends with them, acknowledge them, reintegrate them, whatever it is, so that these things don't happen to you because we all know what we like. We all know these things, and they can get us where we don't acknowledge it. If I see a hot girl coming at me and I'm like, I would like that. That looks like a lot of fun. Wait a second, I would like that. It looks like a lot of fun to me. Maybe I should check myself, take a minute, maybe check with Kirk or somebody else, one of my boys, and be like, does that look like a good idea? And they'd be like, no. I'm like, that's what I thought. I should probably go the other way. Because you know what? Yeah, it's exciting, but it's also dangerous. Excitement can be danger. Danger will want us in danger.
And then you got to ask in that situation, what does she want? What does she want in terms of what does she want from me?
She don't want my gray hair.
What
She don't
do
want
I?
these skills.
I mean, dude, if they're at this point, if there's some female coming after me, it's a real question. What do you want? I mean, I know I'm all swole up and all this other kind of, but it's like, what does she want, and is it worth it? And the second part of that answer, is it worth it, is probably no. Like it probably ain't worth it. It's probably not. And I mean, yeah, most definitely ain't worth it because they always want more than you willing to give. Right. Yep. I mean, he was willing to give 10 million and she's like, nope. I'm pretty sure that lawyer is working on a retainer and he gets a percentage. He definitely ain't getting paid by the hour. And they always want more than you willing to give. And so you got to ask yourself as a man, is it whatever this thing is, whatever this is about to cost me, is it worth it? And 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 10, the answer is no. Recognize that up front. And that should be your answer right up front. Is this worth it?
Yeah, I mean, we all have our things and we all have our stuff we like and whatnot. And those things that you like the most are the things, especially when you start to better yourself, become a better man, and start to become more and more high value. Those are things that will take you off path. So, like Kirk says, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? But also, is this taking me on to where my goals? Is this help me in that direction, or is it hindering me? Because that one night, the one extra pump, that could hinder you for the rest of your life versus taking you in the right direction. And that's why taking your time. I saw one of our friends in the Parker social group was talking about, what do you guys think about women who give it up on the first date? I'm like, well, it's fun. And it's could be exciting, but it doesn't ring long-term relationship bells in my head. And so it's the same sort of thing. Like, what is your goal? Is it going to help you get to your goal? Do you want to live a fruitful, happy life? Do you want to be this top 1%er, this good man, this high value man? Or do you want to give all that away to somebody else who sees the bag and wants to take it from you? What is it? What's the end goal and what is it worth to you?
And you got to recognize that thing, man. You got to see the end from the beginning. You got to see, what's your exit strategy for this decision that I'm about to make? If I'm about to like, where's that going to get me? Like, right now, man, where is another woman going to get me right now? Like, I don't need another. I mean, like at some point you gotta be able to see, and in this case, I'm pretty sure 99 out of 100 that she wasn't his only one. That he had a stable of freaks. And he could just kind of call up, and have the right, because one of the dopamine triggers in the brain is variety. And so I'm pretty sure he had, not only did she provide him variety in terms of the freak, but he probably
Mm.
had other freaks on the side. And after a couple of years, that first freak gets stale. It's like Eddie Murphy say, well, it's just a cracker, and it's like, it's just the Ritz after a while. And when that becomes normal, or regular, then the other one begins to kick in. And I'm pretty sure, this one who's suing him now, was like, wait a minute, I'm starting to be on the back burner, so
Mhm.
I gotta stir up some stuff and whatever. And so, it's like, what is another one gonna do? Like, what is another female gonna do for a guy? If he's single, do you really need two, three, four, five, six, seven, 20 of them? I mean, and how many times have we seen? I mean, man, them Tiger chicks, man, they was coming out of the woodwork when Tiger was going through
Mhm.
his stuff, man. And it's like, how many do you need, man? And it's like, you got to be able to see the end from the beginning, man. You got to be able to ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, do I really want to go through all of that when this thing comes unwound? Probably not.
Yeah. So we'll say it again. We'll keep preaching it. You need to have depth of vision. You need to know what your goal is. You need to have guys around you to support that goal that can call you out and check you when that blind spot. You don't see the red flags because you focus on the booty. You got to have guys around you to be like, is that a good idea? Because I mean, all you got is yes men around you who just want something from you and don't have your best interests at heart. So I mean, we're almost making an argument about yeah, be a high value man, but don't get too high value. Don't make too much money because you might have to hire a whole crew of dudes that got your back. Because I mean, we keep seeing it over and over again. I mean, back in what was it, the '80s, and Johnny Carson White left him took half. Eddie Murphy did a whole skit about that. It's like it's been going on. There are no secrets anymore. We know that most of the ladies out there, not all, but the majority that we see are just about the money and what they can get. I mean, in this case, she obviously was about the money. She was doing OnlyFans. She went after a high value man. She wanted the baby. He wouldn't give it to her. She probably wanted to get married. He wouldn't give it to her. Now she's going after the bag the other way, hiring a shark of a lawyer, a vampire of a lawyer who went after Jay-Z and P. Diddy, which I'm assuming they were too well connected for him to get anything out of them. But now Shannon's on the front of this. And I mean, I'm hoping they get a judge who's not a part of the crew and can see the forest for the trees and realize that this is just a shakedown and not give him anything. But, I don't think it's going to happen. He's probably going to have to pay out something because it ain't never free, fellas. It ain't never free.
I don't think this is even going to go to court. I mean, I think, I don't think this is going to be a Johnny Depp kind of thing, which great for Johnny Depp, by the way. He flipped the script on that thing,
Oh, yeah.
but in that situation, she had something to offer. She had millions. I mean, she
Mhm.
wasn't a nobody, whatever, and so, I don't think this will see a court thing. I think it's going to cost him dearly, and he's going to have to go away for a while and then make his comeback and try to do the best he can, put together, what the most that he can from everything that he lost. But I don't think this will see the court. But like I said, us as men, man, we got to be better, man. We got to know what's enough is enough. We got to have some good people surrounding us. Otherwise it just goes off the rail. Otherwise you become Diddy, like because it just goes off the rail, man. It just does,
Way off the
and
rails.
that's how these things happen, man. So we got to learn. We got to learn some lessons as men, man. We got to protect the bag instead of just chasing the bag.
Yeah, and for all you guys out there, be like, that wouldn't happen to me. I would know better. You're wrong. You're so dead wrong. Because if it happened, it could happen to you. If it happened to us, it could happen to you. So don't be thinking that, oh, it won't happen to me. I know better. I won't let her. They're smarter than us. They're more conniving than us. They know how to manipulate us. And if they want something out of you, they're probably going to get it. Unless you can protect yourself, unless you can see the forest for the trees, unless you have some guys around you to help protect you. I mean, us guys, when it comes to it, we all want the booty. We're stupid about it. So don't think that you're the exception to the rule or that it's not going to happen to you. You need to get a crew of guys around you. You need to keep your eye on the prize, know what your end goal is, and keep asking yourself, is she going to help me there? Is this going to get me there? A lot of us, if we were really focused on our purpose in the world, We really focus on what our end goal was. We would get probably 90% of these ladies, 95% of these ladies time of day, because they would see us going somewhere and we could tell that it was just wasn't us. It was where we're going or what our goal is or what our purpose is of that attracted them. And they're not there to help. They're there to get what they can. So keep focused, keep guys around you to help you on your purpose and your path. And then keep asking yourself, especially when something like that comes up, something that looks too good to be true, too hot in them shorts, and just be like, is this going to get me where I want to go? And then ask your guys, because they'll be honest with you. But, you just take the lessons you can from this unfortunate situation that Shannon's going through, because none of us want to be there. We definitely don't want to be there giving up millions of dollars for, some booty. But these are lessons we can all take from, no matter what status you're at, no matter what your bank account looks like. There's some girl out there that's got their eyes on you, that you're a target. They want to get what they can from you.
I'm telling you, we got to recognize them. And like I said, especially if you have value. I'll tell you what, if I won the Powerball, you wouldn't see me nowhere, man. If I won the Powerball, I'm gonna buy me a big old something way out in the country. I'm gonna build me a little golf course so my fellas can come and hang out. We can play golf. I'm gonna build me a little freak palace for me and my wife, and and that's about it. Like, where he go, I don't know where he went, man. But I ain't trying to be out in these streets, man. We got to recognize that. We also got to recognize that we trying to do our thing, man. MadmenRadio.com, holler at us. Check us out, YouTube video, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff, man. Holler at your boys, but let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, we're here for you. We do these stories for you. It's all about you. We're here in for the heart of service. And when I win the Powerball, I ain't gonna claim it on my name. It's gonna be under some trust and some corporation. It ain't gonna be attached to me. Nobody gonna know nothing. I'm just gonna disappear. But until that day, and until next time, we are the Madmen, and we are out.